Hey guys, this is it. It's the final countdown. How many hours? 19, about 15 more hours to go. This is a response to the Google form that 11 of you filled out on just things you wanted some last minute prep with. So I put this together today. I shared it with you um, about an hour and a half ago. I see 3 of you on it now, and I said I'd do a quick video on it. So this is just some resources. Some of you might not need help with all of these things, but here we go. One of the things you guys asked for was some extra help with a letter from Birmingham jail. So I attached 2 videos, one from Khan Academy, one from Money. Obviously, know that it deals with civil rights, know how it fits in a historical era, right, with the civil rights movement. I talked to both classes about preserving that apple of gold from Lincoln's Fragment. It's long. Don't worry about sitting up here and reading all of it and understanding every paragraph. I think I did a little video on that myself as well. So check that out, and I give some of the historical context there. Okay. I saw 2 people write about Citizens United versus FEC. If you scroll on Google Classroom, that's the one we spent days and days and days on. You basically annotated all those little parts about it. So you can look there. I also included 2 videos here, the Bill of Rights Institute video and the Money version. Some things about the Articles of Confederation. This is my video from it. I put it here from way back when. Here's a quick little synopsis, and I pointed out some of the disadvantages of the AOC, that it provided for a weak executive. Now you can say it gave no executive. That is true, but the president of the Congress was sort of considered the executive. That there was an ineffective foreign policy, that it couldn't draft troops, that it couldn't tax states. Now, Jesse pointed out with that quiz question, well, did we really learn about states not being able to trade? That's not one of the biggest issues of it, but it was seriously an issue. So it's good that you're aware of that now as well. So under the Articles of Confederation, Congress lacked the authority to regulate commerce, making it unable to protect or standardize trade between foreign nations and various states. Know that under the AOC, there's a lot more state sovereignty as compared to the federal system under the US Constitution. I think I told you guys, is this not working? I'll try to check this link. Here we go. So this is from the Library of Congress. And this goes over some of the parts about the commerce. So if, let me see. Provides a plan for granting powers over trade, standardized trade between foreign nations and foreign states. So if you want to look over this, you can. I was promised over the summer that there's usually not much on it, and it's usually just knowing its weaknesses, which we just went over, and how the Constitution addressed those weaknesses, right? The federalism, creating the judiciary, creating an executive, all those things. I had a request for the BCRA, which is the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act. Maybe there'll be a multiple choice question on that. Who knows? I have a little image here. Okay. It amended the Federal Election Campaign Act of 1971. So what this did is it banned soft money contributions and increased the limits of hard money contributions. Now, this is for campaigns. So it's good then to know what is hard money and soft money. Hard money is the money you give a specific candidate. I gave this to Beto O'Rourke. I gave this money to Ted Cruz, whoever, right? Soft money is you're giving it to a party. Whoops. You're giving it to the Republican Party, the Democratic Party. You're giving it to a committee. Okay, so that's the difference. Okay, pork barrel versus log rolling. Usually when you hear pork barrel, it deals with legislation like adding something, like if it's a bill, pork barrel legislation is like it's a bill about the environment, but you snuck in a bill, you snuck in a law completely not related to the environment, education, or something else. So, pork barrel politics are the practice of politicians trading favors with constituents in exchange for political support. So, usually that's it. Like, I will support this bill if you throw this thing in there. And that's how pork barrel legislation comes about. Okay. Now, log rolling is not that just you'll support it because something's for you in it now, but I'll support you on this if you support me on that. Okay. There was a PACs and super PACs. Another AP Gov teacher makes videos. I looked over it quickly. Seems to do the job, so I attached that. A free rider is related to this. A free rider is sort of what the name entails or it suggests. So it's an individual who doesn't belong to a group, yet they're getting a benefit from the influence of that group. Okay, a lot of things about the interactions of branches of government. That's the longest, probably the biggest um, unit. I have tons of videos if you need to check my YouTube channel on it where I go over these things and I sort of tried to make them relevant. This is my introduction video, so maybe start there. I also put that PDF on Classroom, which is sort of elementary, but it just goes over how does the branches of government, how do the checks and balances work? So I would know how does the executive, check the judiciary? How does the judiciary check the legislature? You know all those things. The types of federalism, layer cake is the same as dual. Cooperative is the same as marble. I don't know if you have to think of like cocoa marbles or layers of duels. I don't know. But layer cake is that the state governments have certain roles among the federal system, and the federal government, the national government has specific roles, and they sort of stay separate and work together in their own ways. Post New Deal, I guess you'd say, is when a lot of these are blended together. Marble cake federalism. The programs and authority are mixed between the state and federal governments. All right. The Ninth and 10th Amendments. So I know you guys know the First Amendment. You know the two parts. The free, the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause. You know all those. You know the Fifth Amendment. The Ninth Amendment says any rights that's not in the Constitution belong to the people, and those are your enumerated. Like there could be a countless amount of them. So what could they be? It was cited in Roe v. Wade as a right to privacy. Now, remember, the right to privacy was also considered parts of other amendments, but Ninth being one of it. This is an article from this year from the News Tribune. The News Tribune is a left but center-left publication. It's highly regarded as far as facts go. But Justice Brett Kavanaugh said during his confirmation hearings that he did not support inventing new rights, right? So what could those enumerated rights be? Amy Coney Barrett wouldn't answer whether a right to privacy existed. So we'll see if that plays out. There has been times it's gone to court. Trying to think of some. I think there was an environmental group that tried bringing a case to the Supreme Court because of environmental laws, saying that it was violating people's right to clean air. That did not hold up, but there was one about clean air in an airplane, and they said yes, people do have a right to clean air as far as that goes. So there's that. The 10th Amendment is that if any power is not delegated to the U.S. by the Constitution and it's not prohibited by the states, then it's given to the states or to the people. We've talked a little bit lately about Representative Cheney and sort of criticizing what Trump was doing at the time. She said the federal government does not have absolute power. The 10th Amendment came up a little bit with the coronavirus. Does the federal government have the right to impose certain things? I think when they were sending federal troops into Portland with some of the protests. The 10th Amendment was brought up. Okay, for affirmative action, 2 videos, one from the Bill of Rights Institute. Not a video, I think that's a website. So this gives you a quick overview, right? It's not long. Usually carried by schools, businesses, government entities, in which individuals of minority racial status are afforded preferential treatment on the basis of race, right? It's done to rectify traditional underrepresentation of minority peoples. This, read this only if you have time. If you're really cramming things, I wouldn't suggest you read this tonight, but maybe you'll read this even after the exam. It's from just a few months ago. Oops. But you may find it helpful. Could it be? Hey, it's flow. Could it be something that's mentioned in an FRQ? Yeah, it could be. So if you want to read about this, I thought it was interesting. Okay, so here's just a screenshot of affirmative action. Some people wanted historical context. The federal government mandated it during the Nixon administration. These 2 cases you don't really need to know, but maybe, if the FRQ mentions one of those cases, who knows? Okay, now I want to show you guys real quick. It was asked to go over the 1-pagers. So this is B6. A5, no one asked, but you can always reach out to your classmates. So I'm just going to go through these real quick. You can pause or screenshot if you need some help. Okay, so Aiden went over the Articles of Confederation. All right, going over once again some of the weaknesses. All right, Federalist 51, remember checks and balances. 51, if men were angels, no government would be necessary. Cameron also did 51. I'm just pausing for a second in case you want to screenshot it. Declaration of Independence, right? Unalienable rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. This is the apple of gold. Written primarily by Jefferson. Jason's here. That a free public cannot long subsist over a country of the great extent of these states. If then this new constitution is calculated to consolidate 13 states into one and not to be adopted. So that sounds like Brutus to me. All right, Shiva, go ahead and turn that sideways, but letter from Birmingham jail, right? Great visual there with the keys. If you want to pause that or screenshot it and flip it. Sean had a few things here. Brutus not happy with the Constitution. Anti-Federalists also not happy that there was not a Bill of Rights in the original Constitution. Tyranny alert, right? Brutus thought that a big government would be bad for democracy, not helpful, like in Federalist 10. Okay, here's Mia. Also Federalist 51, checks and balances. Go ahead if you want to screenshot that and flip it. Jade, Federalist 10, right? The idea that you cannot get rid of factions because to do so, you would have to get rid of liberty, and that'd be even worse. So how do you control the effects of factions? And having a larger republic would be one of those ways. 78, the judiciary. Here we have Yennefer's. Also judicial review. More Declaration of Independence, 4 different images. I liked when he explained these here. Balancing government powers with rights. Letter from Birmingham jail by Hillary. My sweetheart.
Are the dogs on a walk?
They do need another walk, yes. Okay, powerful images. It's good to know why he wrote that as a response also. All right, segregation isn't a moral law, therefore meaning citizens shouldn't have to only follow it, but should oppose it. The amendments, this was great. Some of the amendments by Ramisha that are not the top 10 ones that you, like the images. So once again, feel free to pause this or screenshot this. Right, we don't have that many amendments, right? The amendment process is meant to be difficult, right? I believe this is our last one. All right, showing me how the Constitution, so just some basics. I like the calligraphy here. All the different branches, the amendments, Bill of Rights, all that kind of stuff. All right, what else? I shared on Classroom also some screenshots that go over different FRQs. So if you go in AP Classroom, I shared some FRQs with you guys, and this just shows how to grade them. So maybe you can look at this afterwards. It would be a waste of time tonight to write out all these FRQs, but look over them. Maybe bullet point just how would you do it. Remember, you need to answer every part of the prompt, right? You want to make sure if there is a rebuttal, you do a rebuttal. If it asks for 2 pieces of evidence, give 2 pieces of evidence. Always ask every part of the question. So look at those tonight. See, would you be able to answer them? And if you can't, don't freak out. Look up the information so that you could. All right. I will check in the morning to see if there's any other questions. Please don't stay up too late. Please drink water. Please charge your Chromebooks. Please charge your Chromebooks. All right. Good night, people.